While China is still scaling around the 7 nanometer class, leading-edge development has moved toward 2 nanometer, and the rest of the industry just quietly crossed a threshold that has the potential to reshape the next phase of chip design. Not a smaller transistor, not better software, a fundamentally different architecture, and one that Chinese foundries would face significant challenges replicating at scale today. This is backside power delivery, and in the next 10 minutes, you will understand why it is the most important shift in chip design in 30 years. Stay with me. What I am about to show you in the next 60 seconds is why every major chip maker on the planet just rebuilt their roadmaps around this single technology. Every advanced processor today, from NVIDIA's AI accelerators to the latest smartphone chips, is a dense city of billions of transistors. These tiny switches do all the computing, but they cannot work alone. They need two things constantly: signals and power. And for decades, engineers have been forced to route both through the same crowded surface of the chip. The front side, the same microscopic space shared by data wires, control signals, and power lines, all competing for room. As chips became smaller, this space became impossibly tight. Imagine running a modern megacity where highways, electricity lines, and communication cables are all forced through the same narrow streets. At some point, no matter how clever your engineering, congestion becomes physics. And here is the part that surprises most people. At 2 nanometers, adding more transistors can actually make chips less efficient, not faster, less efficient. Because every additional transistor demands power, and the wires delivering that power are now so thin and so crowded that voltage literally drops before it reaches the transistor that needs it. Engineers call this IR drop, and by the 2 nanometer threshold, it has become severe enough to cap performance no matter how advanced the lithography is. So instead of forcing more wires into an already crowded front side, engineers made a radical decision. They moved power out of the way completely. Not by shrinking it, not by optimizing it, by relocating it to the other side of the chip entirely. Think of it this way. Until now, every chip was a two-dimensional city. Roads, power lines, and data all competing on the same surface. Now the front side is reserved for signals and logic. The back side is dedicated entirely to delivering power. Signals go one way, power goes another. That separation changes everything. Power no longer weaves through a maze of signal wires. It travels directly, with shorter paths and lower resistance. Transistors get cleaner, faster, more stable energy. But here is what makes this story more than just an engineering upgrade. This shift increases reliance on advanced global supply chains in a way that previous nodes did not. Current implementations rely heavily on advanced tools supplied by companies like Applied Materials, Lam Research, Tokyo Electron, and ASML. Compute sovereignty is no longer just about owning the fab. It is about access to the toolchain that makes the fab possible. And that toolchain is concentrated in a small group of Western and Japanese suppliers. And the gains are not theoretical. Efficiency improves, voltage becomes more stable, performance increases without increasing power. According to data Intel disclosed at VLSI 2025 on their 18A node, early measured silicon results suggest significant improvements in power efficiency and voltage stability compared to their previous generation. These are not marketing slides, they are measured silicon. This is not a small upgrade. It has the potential to reshape how chips are built going forward. This is the kind of shift that doesn't just improve chips, it redraws the entire playing field. Because the entire industry has now converged on the same architectural change, but from very different starting positions. Intel is making the most aggressive move. They are moving toward production with their 18A node starting in 2025 to 2026 at Fab 52 in Arizona and at their facility in Hillsboro, Oregon. They are positioned to be the first to ship backside power in commercial silicon. TSMC is taking the cautious leadership approach, exactly the strategy that earned them a decade of dominance. Their N2P node, the first TSMC chip carrying backside power, is targeted for volume production in late 2026. The window where competitors could theoretically close this gap narrows with it. Samsung Foundry is the third player, working to catch up by integrating their own version into the 2nm GAA roadmap. 3 companies, 3 timelines, 1 technology that will likely determine who leads the next decade. And this is the part that nobody outside a fab cleanroom actually talks about. To make this work, engineers have to thin the wafer, drill through it, and align both sides with near-atomic precision. They have to manage hybrid bonding tools that did not exist at production scale even 5 years ago. They have to develop entirely new metrology to verify the alignment of metal stacks on opposite sides of a wafer thinner than a human hair. Now the counter-argument. Intel has promised breakthroughs before. Their 10nm node was supposed to ship in 2016. It did not hit volume until years later. So why should anyone believe 18A is different? 2 reasons. First, Intel decoupled PowerVia from transistor development. They tested backside power on its own dedicated node for years before integrating it with RibbonFET. Much of the risk was retired before the integration began. Second, the VLSI 2025 data is not a slide deck. It is measured silicon from working test chips. The skeptics were right in 2016. The data suggests they may be wrong in 2026. Because the implications do not stop at the chip. They reach all the way to the power grid and to Beijing. AI chips become significantly more powerful per watt, which directly translates to faster training runs and cheaper inference for the models everyone is racing to deploy. Data centers, which already consume enormous amounts of electricity, become dramatically more energy efficient, easing the strain on power grids already buckling under AI demand. Future computing, the path beyond 2 nanometers into the angstrom era, becomes more achievable. Industry analysts at Yole Group project that backside power delivery will become a standard feature on leading-edge logic nodes by the end of the decade. Meanwhile, Chinese foundries like SMI have demonstrated 7nm class production, but the leading-edge industry is now solving problems associated with nodes 2 full generations beyond. The gap is real, but it is not static, and progress on the Chinese side does exist. Closing it without access to the full advanced tooling stack will simply be significantly harder than closing previous nodes was. This is how technological eras actually change. Not with one big invention, but with a hidden constraint suddenly becoming visible and a new architecture emerging to solve it. And here is what nobody noticed. The industry thought the limit was size. It wasn't. It was power. The transistors got smaller. The wires got thinner. The constraint moved underneath the silicon to a layer no satellite can photograph and no benchmark can capture. And the moment that changed, everything changed with it. And for the first time in decades, the future of computing may not be decided by who builds the smallest chip, but by who can power it. If you want to understand the technologies quietly reshaping the global tech landscape before they hit the headlines, subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't just follow the future, we decode it.